Hey everyone, Carrie here again. Check out the previous videos I've made in this series by going to the bottom of any page on our website. Click on the link to our church's YouTube channel, and you'll find them there along with other great resources. Speaking of YouTube, the famous series that this video is shamelessly a parody of has reached global, if not astronomical, attention. The anchorman of this show has received all kinds of accolades of fan art, musical tunes, superstar cameos, and dozens of great ideas of good news happening all around the world that he can then share with his audiences. I then asked my audiences for good news that I could share in future More Good News segments. No one responded. It may be due to the fact that I am not a nationally recognized movie star. So, I had to find some stories of my own. But there are plenty out there. And that is what we can do to help survive these difficult times. With so much bad news coming out and so much bad news around, it's great to focus and find and celebrate the good things that are still happening. So, with deference to Jack Ryan, here is more good news. Story number 1 comes from one of our Sunday morning ushers. He suddenly found that because our Sunday services had all been pushed to online format, he could no longer ush. So he still faithfully tuned in, watching our live stream each Sunday, and then he found that his wife, who normally did not want to come attend worship gatherings with him, was sitting and wanting to sit with him and watch and tune into our gatherings. Not only this, just a few days ago, he discovered that she was at the computer, ready to start watching our live stream worship gatherings before even he was. God is at work. Our next story is similar. One of our members of our church, we'll call him Michael, was just a few years ago not very interested in following God. His own parents said that he did not show many signs of wanting to be a part of church. However, they reported that during this quarantine, he lost his job. And then God has been working in new ways. Recently, Michael's parents were watching the news, and it was beginning to cause them to be more and more stressed out. Imagine that. Still, Michael walks in, sees this scene, and says, hey, parents, don't worry. It's all in God's hands. You see, what a development in Michael's life, and what good advice for us today. Our last story is called, So What? A member of our church called one of our staff just before Easter week. It's telling us that Western Medical in Anaheim was looking for help for someone to make homemade masks for their people. We started calling around. Volunteers started calling around, and the response was a lot more than just so. Soon we had a whole team of volunteers, widows, seamstresses ready to make homemade masks. And then we found out that Joann's on Lincoln and Valley View was actually donating fabric for our ladies to use, donating a template for anyone who would be willing to help. It's truly a story that ended up being so great. So if you have any encouraging stories or good news you'd like to share that we could share with all of our audiences in our next More Good News segment, go ahead and leave them in the comments below or email me at carrie@neighborhoodchurch.com. Thanks. This time has given us a lot of unique challenges. And a great way to find hope and to get support is in a life group. Our life groups are all meeting online right now via Zoom and other video chat software, but still an online life group is the perfect place to get help and to give help to others. Life groups also help us live out the realities, actually the instructions that God gave us in the New Testament. So here's some examples. Be devoted to one another in brotherly love, Romans 12:10. We can follow up with our life group friends, sticking by them through this season. Next up, we've got carry each other's burdens, Galatians 6:2. In a life group, we can hear each other's hurt. We can help each other heal, and we can be there for one another to help us carry each other's burdens carry each other through this season. Next up, we've got be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other. Did you hear all those characteristics? Be kind, be compassionate, and forgive one another. The way to do these is in the context of a group of good friends. That's where we can experience forgiveness and kindness and compassion. And that's a place where we can give compassion, give kindness, give forgiveness to other people too. A life group is a great context to live those out. So even though we're shelter at home, don't go through this season alone. Join a life group. So if you're not in a life group yet, you can find our open groups on our church website. Just click on any of the groups you see there, and a group leader will connect with you and answer questions and invite you in. Well, one of our open life groups is hosted by Doug and Pat Ferguson, and I've asked Doug to join us here on screen today. So hopefully we'll see him here soon. Hey, good to see you, Doug. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Gary, thanks for inviting me.
Awesome. Glad you could be here. Doug, we were just talking about life groups, and I wanted to ask you, why did you join a life group in the first place?
Well, it's easy to get lost on Sunday mornings with all of the crowds, and we don't really develop close relationships with others. And being in a life group gives us the opportunity to get closer to others on a more intimate level and takes us beyond that 1 hour on Sunday to grow spiritually and get to know God on a deeper level. And basically, that's why we started our life group.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like good benefits there. I'm sure there were challenges though. What challenges did you guys face in joining a life group, and how did you overcome them?
Well, the main thing we were a little concerned about was would anybody join us? And we were pretty fortunate. We had some good folks that decided to join it. Although I don't know whether it's because it's us or whether it was the cookies that Pat baked.
That helps. That helps a good group, Yeah, what would you say besides the great cookies? What else has been a great benefit of your group? How have you grown in God because of your life group?
Well, we've been encouraged and grown in many different ways. Fellowship and support and growing together in our relationships with each other, and getting deeper in the Word were benefits. Supporting each other in prayer is a real important part of our life group. We have a couple of our members that have been going through some trying health problems, and being able to pray with them on a weekly basis in the life group, and then knowing that people are praying during the week is really really helpful.
Nice.
Even during this time of social distancing and having to meet online, we are still maintaining that close support and fellowship and friendship with each other.
Awesome.
And one of the things that we like to do as a life group is we have a snack time after our meeting.
Yes, my favorite part.
Since we can't be together for snack time, Pat baked some cookies, and we bagged them up and took them over and dropped them off at each of our members' homes. And after the meeting that night, we all got to hold a cookie up and enjoy snack time together.
Oh, together. That's so clever. Yeah, that's so creative. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds like a great group, Doug. What would you say to anyone out there that's not part of a life group yet?
Well, I'd say to find a life group and give it a try. I think that you'll grow closer to each other, and you'll grow closer to the Lord. And there are life groups that are available. Just find one and give it a try.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Doug. Glad you could be on and share with us. It's good to hear about your group, and yeah, thanks for sharing your insights.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, Carrie. Have a great one.
Good to have you on screen.
Bye.
See you, Doug. Awesome. So you guys heard it straight from Doug, one of our folks in a life group. And that just makes us think again, this idea that even though we're shelter at home, don't go through this season alone. Join a life group. Well, now we turn to our our weather correspondent, Susan. Susan, how are things looking?
Looks, yep. Looks pretty good, I think. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you, Susan. Glad you could join us today. And I'm glad you could join us today too. If you have any questions about life groups, or if you have anything encouraging that has happened to you in your life group, we'd love to hear about it. So go ahead and jot those ideas down in the comments below, or you can email me at carrie@neighborhoodchurch.com. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great week. And remember, even though we're shelter at home, don't go through this season alone.